speaker of this session will be Dr. Ibrahim Gamard, who will talk about Sultan Veled and in particular the dervish lover in the quatrains of Sultan Veled. Please.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah. The life of Sultan Veled was extraordinary in that he had received blessings and spiritual teachings from so many great ones, including his grandfather Bahauddin Veled, who died when he was about 5 years old, Sayyid Burhanuddin Tirmizi, and his father Mevlana Jalaluddin. He was very devoted to his spiritual guides, his murshids, Shamsi Tabrizi, Salahuddin Zarkub, and Husamuddin Chalabi. Even after Husamuddin Chalabi died, Sultan Veled showed great humility and patience by taking yet another spiritual guide for a period of 8 years, Karimuddin Bektamor. Only after the latter died did Sultan Veled become the full leader of the Maulawis at age 66. After that he composed 3 Masnawis, Ibtida Nama, Rabab Nama, and Intiha Nama, in addition to his Diwan, and the prose collection of his lectures and sermons, Ma'arif. And he poured all the wisdom of these great teachers into his own poetry. A good example of this is he was faithful to the example of his father's devotion to Shamsi Tabrizi in following the Sufi path of devotion to the spiritual guide or master, Murshid, Sheikh, as a means to attaining pure devotion to God alone. In Sufism, this is called the path of annihilation of separate selfhood in the spiritual presence of the Master, Fana fi Sheikh, as a means to annihilation of separate selfhood in the presence of God, Fana fi Allah. His father, Mevlana Jalaluddin, had so effaced himself through love of Shamsi Tabrizi that he composed thousands of poems in which he saw his spiritual guide everywhere, especially in all things beautiful, poems that often ended not with his own name, as was the classical tradition for ghazal poems, but with the name of his spiritual master instead. A good example of this in the poetry of Sultan Veled is the story of the man who knocked on the door. Now in the Masnawi, the story begins, someone came and knocked on the door of a friend. So in Mevlana Jalaluddin's version, he says, a friend. But Sultan Veled composed a version of the story in his Ibtida Nama that gives different details, which suggests that this was a Sufi story already told for some time, and not a story originated by Mevlana. In his version, Sultan Veled uses the terms, the Sufi terms, murid and master, sheikh, disciple, murid, and master, sheikh. And this is the translation of the story. In explanation of the uttering of admonition and mystical insight of Sultan Veled in regard to his spiritual master, Sheikh Salahuddin, may God magnify his memory, and is telling Veled, I want you to no longer remain, so that I may utter admonition and mystical insight on your behalf. For in the world of unity, two-ness cannot be contained, and the bringing forth of a parable. So that I may know truly that you are mine, you are the lover, and you are beyond us and me. You are not in the midst, only I am. There are never two in this containment. Haven't you heard the story of the spiritual master, the sheikh, about the skill, knowledge, and ability of that master, that sheikh, who, when the spiritual disciple, the murid, came to his door and knocked on the door, he said, "Who is it? Speak." His disciple said to him, "It is me, your slave, O king." The master said, "Go forth from my door." He did not offer him the entrance way. After that helpless one departed for a time, he left and was wandering in separation for a year. When he had spent a year in travel, the following year he arrived back and knocked on the door. Again the master asked him, "Who is it?" He said, "It is me." The master replied, "I am not opening the door for you." For years he was deprived of the company of this sheikh. He became cooked, and the ultimate action became known to him. He came back when he had become bent over from suffering separation. He knocked on the door. The master said, "Who is it?" The disciple said to him, "You." The master said in reply, "Since it is me, why am I knocking the door ring from the outside?" He opened the door to him and said, "Come in, since your you-ness is gone from you. O clear-seeing one, since you are not you, only I am, so my home is your possession, O wise one. The world of unity is our dwelling place. Two cannot be contained within our heart. Therefore come in, O you, who have become me for me. Since you are a rose, come into this rose garden. Among the numbers of roses, where is two-ness? Since you have become a rose, the thorn of you-ness no longer remains." Pas beyae ke man shodi ber man, chun gulander o dar in gulshan, dar adadha ye gul kujadui, chun shodi gul naman et khare tui. That's how I sing Sultan Veled. This story may be also interpreted on the level of annihilation of self in the presence of God, fana fillah. The disciple is then the mystic worshiper who knocks on the gate of the divine court, the worshiper who answers, "It is you, because only you are, O God, and there is no partner, la sharika lah, no companion or any other being in your absolute unity. There is only you. There is nothing divine except you. All glory be to you alone. La ilaha illa anta subhanak." As the co-translator of the nearly 2,000 quatrains attributed to Mevlana Rumi, it was natural for this presenter to take an interest in Sultan Veled's quatrains, Rubaiyat, Rubailer. There are 455 quatrains in his diwan, most of which express spiritual love for the human beloved, meaning the dervish disciple's spiritual love for his Sufi guide. Of course, since Persian poetry is often ambiguous in regard to whom is addressed, many of these quatrains may also be read as addressed to God, subhanahu wa ta'ala. 19 of Sultan Veled's best quatrains have been selected. These are quatrains in praise of the human beloved, the spiritual master. I am spiritually alive, O idol, because you are mine. I am without pain and sorrow, because you are my remedy. If you become distant from me, I will die without doubt, since in this bodily form, you are my soul. Man zinde azanam sana makane mani, bi dar ghamam zanke tu darmane mani, gardur shawi zaman bemiram bishak, zira kedari kaliv betan jane mani. Next quatrain. You are the one who is the light of soul, heart, and body. You are also the water of everlasting life, the rose garden and meadow. You cast the fire of love for the rose into the heart of the nightingale, so that you make 1,001 melodies from his voice. In suffering pain, I always see the remedy. And in suffering wrath and injustice, I see kindness and faithfulness. On the surface of the earth and below the roof of the heavens, in everything I view, I see only you. My eyes have not seen a beloved with your beauty, nor a heart possessor like you among heart seizers. There is never a rose without a thorn in the world, yet you are that red rose which does not have a thorn. با خوبی تو ندید چشمم یاری نیچون تو میان دلبران دلداری بی خار نباشد به جهان هیچ گلی تو آن گل سرخی که نداری خاری. You are the one who has become the prayer direction for my heart and soul. You are the prayer direction for the rose garden, like the spring season. O you who in spirit and soul are the shadow of the beneficence of God, whatever direction you face, I make it my prayer direction. Themes of separation from the beloved. O beautiful moon, do not kill me with the sword of separation, and do not destroy the foundation of my heart with your anger. O my soul, my fears of your separation, not of death. Show that face of yours out of kindness, and then take my soul. I am such that because of love, I am in the midst of fire. I burn like incense and I wail like the reed flute. By him I have a heart and soul for this purpose, so that I may deliver them the next time when I see you. Theme of Sufis and Dervishes. The pure Sufi is like the moon in the circling sky. He is like the Messiah, always above the circling sky. He flies above earth and heaven, and from his soul and heart is his slave and servant, the circling sky. The men of God are made to run toward God. Day and night, year and month, they are made to seek him. They are upon the earth and also on top of the seventh heaven. Although a single drop in appearance, they are in reality 200 oceans. Although you were prior to existence, O great Sheikh, you went to the Kaaba and you became a great Sheikh. You drank alone at the tavern of divine love, and you became drunk and ecstatically free from self, O great Sheikh. The dervish is passing beyond the body and the soul, and the dervish is superior to the earth and the heavens. God's intended aim was not concerning the worldly creation. Rather, God's intended aim concerning this world is the dervish. Spiritual states. I wandered in the world of love from one direction to another direction, and I wandered like flowing water from stream to stream, without any headache or hardship of the road of separation. I revolved around him in the abode of union. Do not think that my speech is from me, since I am non-existent, for it is from God, continual in every moment that I am with speech. God is eternal, and I am annihilated in him. But do not reckon me as newly appearing, since I am an ancient light. Although I am going among the people by means of the body, I am living because of love. I am not living because of the soul. I am living because of love. I am not living because of the soul. Know that my body is a millstone, revolving by means of the flowing water of God's love. My drunkenness is not one that is from ordinary wine. It is from a wine beyond any road and path. There are amazing spiritual states for me in the meeting place of the hearts, for whatever I seek in it is already available. Wine is not necessary for our drunkenness, nor the joy of harp or viol in our gatherings. Without musician, attractive companion, cup, or wine, we are fallen drunk and wrecked every night and morning. Now the last 4 quatrains that I'm going to read somehow were added in the earliest manuscripts of Hazrat Mevlana's Divani Kabir. Know that my beloved is hidden from everyone. And know that he is beyond the earth and the heavens. Know that he is visible like the moon within my chest, and know that he is mingled like the soul within my body. The heart is a garden of God with hidden trees. It appears in 100 modes, but is itself always the same. It is an ocean all-encompassing, limitless and endless, with hundreds of waves from its surging within the heart and the soul. Upon any ground where I bow my head, the object of my prostration is Him. Upon any ground where I bow my head, the object of my prostration is Him. In any striving that I make, the object of worship is Him. Mention of the rose and the nightingale, in the mystical concert and the beloved, all of these to me in this world and the next, the entire object is Him. Bar her khaki ke serne ham masjudust, dar her jahdi ke mikonam ma'budust, zikre gul bulbul o sama o shahid, zin jumle mera dar du jahan maksudust. It seems fitting to end with some inspiring verses from Sultan Veled's Ibtida Namah about becoming a true dervish lover who is annihilated of separate selfhood. He said, "That world is illumination, delight, and permanence. And this world is darkness, affliction, and transience. The result of this is pass away from selfhood, so that you may gaze upon God continually. Become purified from pride and from self-existence, so that ecstatic drunkenness comes to you without need of goblet and wine. Ascend like Jesus upon the heavens without needing the donkey of the body, and pass beyond Moses. Pak Shavas Guru as hasti, Ta ke jam o mere sad masti, Bi kharetan baray chun Isa, Bar falak ha o begzar az Musa. Teşekkür ederim.